count me in. And that says a lot about my personality. You heard me. We are talking about 22 things to unlearn. Unlearn apologizing for everything. Apologize when you hurt somebody, but don't apologize for existing. Hello guys, welcome back home. This is Shining Bright Living Light and I'm your host, Carrie Icon. Just in case you're wondering, why do I have some shades on? It's summer. Yeah, I know. Don't look me like guy, you're so delulu. We are Kenyans. Over here there's no summer. Who says so? I have free will and I'm using my free will to the fullest because mentally, physically, and even emotionally and spiritually, it's summer over here. This is that time of the year where Love Island is so back. If there is strangers in an island competing for love, money, and they're getting voted out, count me in. And that says a lot about my personality. Because some of us that love reality TV, we are very fascinating. We are curious about human behavior. We are curious about people at large. We love drama. Talking about human behavior. Today we are talking about 22 things to unlearn. Literally, you heard me. We are talking about 22 things to unlearn about life that might not be true. Before we get deep into today's episode, let's say our mantra together as a collective. We shine bright, for we have seen the dark, and we live light, for we refuse to carry other people's burden. Point number 1 about things you should unlearn. Unlearn the idea that everyone has life figured out. When you're young, you literally think that adults have their life figured out. But what you realize is that no one has their life figured out. We're just learning in the process. We're just trying to make better decisions in this life. Point number 2 that you should unlearn apologizing for everything. I know, apologize when you hurt somebody, but don't apologize for existing. Some of us always do that for you to have an easier life, you have to always apologize for everything. But let me tell you today, you need to unlearn that you have to apologize for everything. Just live unapologetically. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be apologizing when you hurt people. What I'm trying to say is, don't apologize for existing. The next thing that you need to unlearn in your life is unlearn the idea that social media is real life. I know I've talked about this in an episode where I say that comparison is the thief of joy, literally. Some of us are always comparing ourselves with someone else behind the scene. And that is why we're always never content with our own lifestyle, because we're like, that one is doing better than me. No, unlearn that idea that social media is real life. The next point that you should unlearn is unlearn waiting for a perfect time for you to start something. Always just start. Start messy. Just start. Some of us have dreams. Some of us have careers that we want to start, but we are waiting for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. Just start. Another thing that you should unlearn in life is unlearn the area of saving your nice things for special occasions. Yeah, literally. I guess this is all in the African household. Even I know some of us used to have all the nice things for visitors, or for traveling, or for church, just for occasions. But let me tell you today, you don't have to always save nice things for occasions, because you are the occasion. The next thing that you should unlearn is unlearn that being busy means being successful. Let me repeat that. Unlearn the idea of thinking being busy is being successful. The next thing that you should unlearn in your life is unlearn the idea of answering everyone out of guilt. Some of us were taught that if you don't answer somebody, that is being rude. No, that is not being rude. It's just you knowing your boundaries. Not everyone needs to be answered, because being available 24/7 is not a requirement of being a good person. So literally, unlearn the idea of you have to answer everybody immediately out of guilt. You don't have to. The next thing that you need to unlearn is unlearn the need to explain each and every decision you make for your own life. Do you realize that this is your own life and you don't need to keep on explaining each decision that you make? Let me tell you today, if you think that each and every decision that you make in life, you always need to explain yourself, nah, you don't. That is your life. Literally, your life, your choice. Whether it's in your career, your relationship, your friendships, in your job, trust me, not everyone needs an explanation. The next thing that you should unlearn is unlearn trying to win every argument. Let me repeat that. Unlearn the idea of winning each and every argument. Not every disagreement needs a winner. And sometimes praise of winning an argument is you losing your peace. And as an advocate for peace, trust me, you don't have to always win each and every argument. The next thing that you need to unlearn is unlearn the idea that you need to buy everything just because everyone has them. You don't have to. Trust me, you don't have to. You don't have to. Next point, actually we are in point number 12. Unlearn the idea that one bad day equates to having a bad life. No. Unlearn that. Unlearn that idea. Some of us will have a bad day, and the next thing we know is that no, my life is not going the way I planned. I'm so behind in life. Why do I keep on failing? It's just a bad day, not a bad life. And that is actually my best of quote ever. I've always been somebody that if I have a bad day, I equate it to a bad week, literally. And that is something that I have had to unlearn the hard way. That's why today I want you to also unlearn. Having a bad day doesn't mean you need to have a bad week. That doesn't mean that you're having a bad life. Sometimes we need to make mistakes for us to learn from them. So yeah, unlearn that. The next point that you need to unlearn is unlearn taking everything personally. Unlearn that immediately. That is something that I've also had to literally learn the hard way, and that's what I want to tell you today. If you ever find yourself in a situation where somebody is literally doing you dirty, or just any circumstance, just know that people are carrying battles out here that we know nothing about. And keep this in mind, some people's behavior is a reflection of their own life circumstances and not your worth. Hope that has sunk. The next point that we need to unlearn is unlearn expecting closure from everyone. Unlearn expecting closure from everyone. Literally, some of the hardest life decision is realizing that not every question needs to be answered. Some people leave, some friendships fade, some situations are never fully make sense. Closure is something we often have to create for ourselves. So that's why I've said we need to unlearn the idea that everything needs closure. No, it doesn't. Some things happen and that is okay. Another thing that we need to unlearn is unlearn the idea that confidence comes first. Some people think that confidence comes before actions, but let me tell you this today. Confidence usually comes after actions. Let me repeat that. Some of us think that confidence comes before action, but the truth of the matter is confidence comes after actions. You become confident by doing the thing, that is by doing what you want or you want to achieve in life, not waiting for you to be confident for you to do it first. That is what is keeping us in a loophole of always waiting for a perfect moment. I'm gonna wait when I'm confident. No, just do it. Confidence will find you. I need water for this point, because to be entirely honest, we need to unlearn the idea of romanticizing struggle. For some of us, we have really romanticized struggle, thinking that struggle is part of life, struggle is part of living, struggle is something that all of us need to go through. No. Unlearn that idea immediately. Unlearn the idea of everything in life you have to strain and struggle for you to get it. No. That is the worst of mentality, or the worst of thing that I've ever had in my lifetime, and I had to break that chain and throw them like, nah, you don't need to always struggle for you to attain success in this life. So I want you today to literally delete that idea that we were told that you have to suffer for you to attain success. You have to suffer for you to live the best. No. Delete. The next thing that you need to unlearn is unlearn the idea of feeling guilty just because you changed your mind. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to outgrow things. Dreams change, career change, people change. Literally everything in this lifetime changes, and it's okay for you to change your mind just because you have outgrown things. As human beings, we are meant to learn. We are meant to outgrow people, to outgrow things, to outgrow careers. Learn the idea of feeling guilty just because you have changed your mind. The next thing that you need to unlearn trying to look cool all the time. You don't need to always look cool all the time. I even don't have any point or even anything to explain that. Just know that you're a human being, and it's okay to have bad days, good days, sad days. That is part of life. Another thing that you need to unlearn is Unlearn taking life seriously. Life is important, but also remember that life is meant to be lived. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also don't forget to share.